Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Big Finish Fans. And today's Big Finish Fans, we're diving back to January's first Big Finish Fans of the year, 40. We finally have the concluding part, 42, the Auton Infinity, a six-parter with the Fifth Doctor. Once again, I'm joined with Luke.
Yes, hello everyone. This is a highly anticipated one for us, isn't it?
Yes.
Because even though our thoughts on the first 40 were somewhat mixed, I think we love our Fifth Doctor stories here. And a six-parter written by the amazing Tim Foley. It seemed like it couldn't go wrong. And I mean, a bit of a spoiler for our opinions on the review, but it didn't go wrong. It is a banger, and we shall talk more about that soon. But first, how have you been, Ben?
I'm still here, which is the main thing.
Just about.
Just about, yeah. Been working most of the week, so I haven't really had a chance to do much Doctor Who things other than start the 10th Doctor Classic Companions, which after 2 years of finally waiting, it's out with very much radio silence, which is surprising for a Tennant release.
Yeah, I mean, well,
The
they've
whole
shut down
news,
all social media, haven't they? And it's
yeah,
just
but
stuff going live on the site.
which is odd, really. You know, you'd think it would be complete radio silence for the whole site, not just social
Yeah,
media, but you know.
that's what. I mean, it's all a bit weird the way it's all going. It's like you got so many ridiculous things done out of supposed respect. I don't know. But try not to get into it too much.
But they will still take your money to
Just
pre-order
four
these
more.
things.
Just 4 more days of it, and hopefully things can start getting back to normal.
It's a strange old time we live in.
Yeah.
But yeah. How about yourself? How have you been doing since we last spoke on Sunday for the animation tier list?
Yeah. I mean, not too bad, I'd say.
Oh, good.
Had a few deliveries in the post. Into the Stars turned up for the Ninth Doctor at last. It's got an interesting spine, hasn't it? Are you going to
Yes, it
look at
has.
it now?
I've got it here.
Yeah.
It's like going to see with the glare. Got all the monsters.
Yeah, it's a different collage of them, isn't it?
Ninth Doctor spine's very odd.
Yeah, I mean, is Chris Eccleston ever going to be back on them with the next two, or who knows?
It's probably going to be Liv and Tanya on the next one, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, good to finally have it.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, yeah, it's been over a month, has it? Or just about a month, I think.
Yeah, sure to me.
Yeah, and then same with Purity and Dream, that turned up same day. There's that. And since we're on the topic of spines and skullduggery from Big Finish, they've put a 2 on there. But Waterworlds does not have a 2, or a 1 rather. Waterworlds is just a plain spine when it comes to that. So yeah, the relaunch is going well in terms of spines. It seems to be very well planned out.
I mean, last year's spines were chef kiss.
I mean, it's nice having the logo lined up all the time. And when it comes to the BBC logo changing, that's something you can't really blame on Big Finish. They get a pass at that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's certainly an odd collection where you have random numbers turning up then disappearing. So we'll see what happens with Kaleidoscope for Doctor Adventures next month. Whether that have a 10 on it, a 2, nothing. Who knows? To me, they look a bit better when they don't have the number there.
Yeah, it looks more cleaner, I think.
We're getting into the really pedantic Big Finish collector side of it now.
And I think as well, the relaunch is, hey guys, check out Big Finish. We want it to be more accessible by labeling like a number. I guess it kind of defeats the point of the relaunch in a way.
Take away from it, especially in the long. Like it's fine at the start, but when you're getting into like the 20s and such,
you got it's an endless cycle, isn't it? It's this infinite loop.
Yeah, I mean, it's what got the monthly range in the end, wasn't it? Because just the huge number of 270 odds is understandably off-putting, even if they are standalone. People aren't necessarily going to know that from the outside looking in. So, yeah, but I feel, but at the same time, it's sort of important with Hebe's ongoing arc for it to be obvious which story goes where. If you are just going along to your bookshop or whatever and you see it on the shelf there, Forbidden Planet, you're going to want to know what goes where when it comes to that. But yeah, I feel like the best solution is probably sort of what the Annihilators did, where it has it on the inner spine.
Yeah, on the jewel case.
Yeah, on the slipcase, but not on the slipcase, but on the CD itself.
Yeah,
because that leaves it nice and neat, outward facing, but then inside you still have the code there, so you know what goes where. But yeah, I'm not. I mean, 40, which we're going to be discussing. It's the first box set is just 40. The second box set is the Fifth Doctor Adventures 42.
I want to see with the glare.
So
just about.
So it's like, is conflicts of interest next year's first Fifth Doctor one? Is that going to be number 3, or is it not going to have a number? You know, we shall see. I mean, these are very minor details compared to the quality of the stories themselves. That's what we really buy this for. But yeah, I mean, quality story I listened to recently that wasn't Fifth Doctor. I finally caught up and finished War Doctor Begins Battlegrounds. I listened to Rewind by Timothy X Attack, which is a wonderful little story. It's almost Doctor Light in a way, like Jonathan Carley doesn't turn up until about 20 or so minutes in. It's instead very much focused around this woman living on this planet that is living through the same day over and over again. Like, everyone remembers the same day as the Daleks invade. And it's nice how that time loop is worked into it, because it can be quite traumatic. Like, it's one thing being invaded and being killed. It's another thing to then have to relive that same day of your life every single day. And it's the Daleks. They're an unstoppable invasion force, knowing that there's nothing they can really do to escape that. So it's purgatory, really. They're stuck in hell. And it's a wonderful exploration of this character as she navigates her way through this world and ends up running into the Doctor. And I don't say any more, but yeah, it's been an interesting experience listening to Battlegrounds, because it came out, May? I don't think I picked it up until June, and then I'll probably listen to a story a month, maybe. So very slowly
saved it.
Yeah, so made it last, I suppose.
Definitely get your money out of that.
Yeah, I have a weird relationship with the War Doctor Begins stuff, to be honest, because there's not much. Like, there's only one episode out of the 9 so far that I would say I dislike. What's Lionheart's from Forged in Fire? The second episode. Other than that, they've all been pretty solid stuff. It's just when a box set drops, I never really have the enthusiasm to go for it, even though I know I'm going to enjoy it. It's strange. Maybe it's down to the nostalgia thing of it not being a numbered Doctor, I suppose, or something.
Yeah, I guess you don't have that much of an emotional attachment to the War Doctor as such, especially this is sort of a new era, so it's sort of unknown territory, which should be quite exciting. But normally you've got that spark of, you've got that connection already with a Doctor, whereas you're building that connection with the War Doctor.
Yeah, especially because they're all standalone, really, as well. Like Volume 2 is a 3-part story, but even then, it doesn't really connect to the other volumes at all. And then all the other 6 episodes are just standalone stuff. So there's no real through thread to really pull you through and keep you going. It's just, it's more just playing in the sandbox of what we can do with a Doctor of War, rather than telling a wider story there. It's a similar thing with the 9th Doctor, I'm finding, actually, where it's like, I'm enjoying a lot of the stories, but there's not as much of an impetus to carry on, because there's not much of an ongoing story there. Like, no,
I think they become a bit samey as well.
Yeah, I thought it's because you're starting off every story in the same position with the Doctor having to get to know everyone. Whereas I suppose that's what's kind of exciting about Volume 3 of Series 2, actually, and also Old Friends, is that with the Brigadier, with Liv and Tanya, you're starting off at a different point there.
Yeah.
So that should be exciting. But yeah, that's it. When you've got companions around it, it's a bit different, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess you've got more of an emotional investment there as well.
Yeah. It's unusual, and I'm not really sure what the solution is to it, because I'll get through the sets, I will enjoy them, but I have noticed the trend of they're taking a bit longer with Ninth Doctor and War Doctor Begins.
I don't know if it's like the Eccleston spark sort of rubbed off now.
Careful, Chris is going to come after you for that little slip.
Oh, sorry. It's been a long week. It's fine. But I think the thing that would really pull people back into the Eccleston stuff is Billy, really. I think we're kind of waiting for either an ongoing thing, like you say, like Dalek Universe, or Billy, really.
I mean, even something similar to Bad Wolf, where it's just, the name, something to grab onto, to keep looking out for as we build towards a finale, because we don't know if we're going to really get a finale as such with this series. Like, is it going to come to something epic, or is it just going to be yet another box set of 3 stories and then that's it, we're done?
I think with this series, it just feels like we're going to write 12 stories and we're just going to try and look which ones match really together.
Yeah, because they've said that they're not necessarily writing them. They weren't necessarily all written as box sets. It was more just thematically mixing them up a bit and putting them together. Which, I mean, fair enough. But when it's one every 3 months consistently, especially immediately after series 1, it does sort of drain a bit, and it does lose the magic, I suppose.
Yeah, because like Station to Station feels like a great series opener, and then after that, it just kind of plateaus, really.
Yeah, I think it's because it's not necessarily like you're getting box set finales.
Like if you had like a proper series structure of like what they're probably going with the 11th Doctor, like to have like a middle 2-parter, like in episode 4, 5, that would be cool. Like a proper RTD series would be nice.
Yeah, just something to make it feel more like a full series, because especially since they're marketing it as that, like, this is the Ninth Doctor's second series. This is the thing he didn't get when he did TV.
Yeah.
That's very much, I feel like that's very much why they decided to call this Series 2, Volume 1 to 4, not just Volume 5, 6, 7, and 8, because they wanted that headline grabber of a second series for the Ninth Doctor, really, isn't it?
And the thing is, what we're asking for isn't a new thing. Like Tom Baker, he had middle 2-parters and stuff like that.
And his series still felt very much like series, didn't they? Like the opener felt like an opener, and the finale felt like a finale.
Because like series 2, that feels like most of a big series of adventures with like Cuthbert. You have Sands of Time, Sands of Life, or whatever that story is. There's a lot of sands on, and then War Against Vallard, and then you have Dalek Contract Final Phase. So that's the second series with Tom Baker. So it's why can't they do it with Eccleston as well? Don't know.
Anyway, hello, stylish person in the chat.
Hello.
Big Finish, we hate spine consistency. Yes, that seems to be the case.
And if you get the Eccleston vinyls, you don't get the Doctor Who logo anymore. So,
Yeah, I think people got both of those, didn't they? Came together, Back to Earth and Into the Stars. We've jumped off that train. It was getting too expensive for us as well.
And finding the space for vinyls now, I'm like, where do I put that?
Yeah, that's the other thing. I mean, I've ordered a new shelf to put CDs on now. So I'm just waiting for Amazon to let me know that that's been dispatched. They've taken my money, but they haven't sent it over to me yet. I think that time, since ordering that, about 4 other Big Finish deliveries have turned up. So I'm just running out of space to put them all.
Just sort of stacking up now.
I'm looking forward to it just so that I can have that fun of arranging and sorting it all. Again, we're going to the pedantic fan territory here. This really is the neckbeard stream at the moment.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's fun, isn't it, when you get to have a proper little sort out of your
Oh no, see what I like to do. I like to put a podcast on and then just vibe with figuring out where stuff's gonna go.
Yeah,
It's a good vibe. I can't listen to a big finish
done.
because I'll be too busy in my own little world going, what's happening in the story?
Yeah, you need something a bit more switch off too.
Yeah,
I mean, sometimes like behind the scenes.
Yeah, that works. Yeah, where you just sit on the floor looking at the pile of CDs, going, "I forgot I had this," and then you just like, I'll put that on the listen pile, and then you never get around to listening to it.
Just like you'll take it out the slipcover or whatever. You'll have a little look through the discs, won't you?
Yeah.
You'll twist them round so that they're facing the right way.
Now you're going neckbeard territory.
Yeah, even though it doesn't matter because as soon as you close it, you're not going to look at them again for another few months.
Yeah.
They'll probably twist on their own.
Mental.
Stylish person asks, favorite Fifth Doctor Big Finish covers?
Well, since we're talking about rearranging, that's some good. I quite like Lost Resort cover, to be honest.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's
I like
nice,
the simplicity of the Fifth Doctor box set.
Yeah.
I think there's like the warming colours of that as well. The orange.
Yes. Yeah. I'll have a little look at the ones I've got.
Yeah. I'm not sure. There's probably loads of highlights throughout the main range.
Yes, main range for sure. I mean, I do like the 40 covers, to be honest, especially 41.
Yeah. I like how they work together as well. Not in the same way that the New Eighth Doctor ones do, but in that they're very much, it's the same style, isn't it? Just with different characters and then a different colour theme.
But yeah, it's all very exciting.
Yeah.
I mean, Aquataine's quite a striking cover, I think, as well.
Tartarus, that's quite a nice one.
Yeah, because you get a different costume as well.
There's something weird about the Chameleon trilogy covers. I'm not sure.
Chameleon Empire's got a strange cover.
Yeah. They almost seem like slightly overexposed or something.
Yeah.
Or slightly blurred. I don't know how to describe it. It's very much a stylistic choice. It's not like an error or anything. And they are quite a nice collection of covers. I mean, Devil in the Mist very much reminds me of the Fifth Doctor Adventure. Fifth Doctor box set cover because that's the same colour scheme.
I quite like Mistfall, actually.
Oh, yeah. That's a nice one.
Fanfare for the Common Men, the original, not the vinyl. But yeah, I'd go for any of those, really.
Oh, Ghost Walk. That's a good
one. Ghost Walks. Or Time in Office, actually.
Oh, yeah, we loved that one when that came out.
Still one of my favourite covers.
Yeah, seeing Davison in the robes. Yeah, I feel like we peaked with covers around that time, didn't we?
Yeah, I think so.
That was. I'm pretty sure that's Tom Webster, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, definitely Tom Webster.
Oh no, Simon Holub.
Oh, Simon. Oh, fair play to Simon Holub.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, he did the amazing Dalek Universe 3 covers. So
there we go.
Well, not just Dalek Universe 3, Dalek Universe in general. Sorry, but yeah,
did a great job.
So, some wonderful covers from him. But yeah, I suppose, shall we talk about some news?
What news have we got?
News to start off. Well, I mean, presumably we're going to get a proper announcement about this last weekend, but then you know what happened, so we didn't.
What happened?
No, who knows? Yeah, Doctor Who magazine. Well, you can turn on BBC News and you'll find out pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but because Doctor Who magazine was all ready to go, they didn't pull that or anything. So we sort of had a underwhelming reveal of the title for the Centenary special, "The Power of the Doctor."
Yeah.
I think it was just sort of not awkwardly dropped because it wasn't planned for that to be the announcement, but just like it's just mentioned there in the editorial bit, isn't it? I believe.
Yeah.
And it's very much like just said as if it's already known, because had things gone to plan, it would have been widely known, presumably.
Does that mean we would have got a trailer as well?
Yeah, that's the other thing. I don't know, because with the Flux trailer, we didn't get that until about 3 weeks before.
Because people are speculating it's either, is it the 16th or 23rd? Something I've seen those dates.
Yeah, I think
floating
they're
around.
the Sundays, aren't they? Like it's
going
to be in that week of celebration, but they've not quite confirmed it yet. So either 16th or 23rd.
But it's been nice for Doctor Who magazine to have somewhat of an exclusive.
I mean, didn't they dedicate about 20 pages to?
Yeah, and that's not even like the full, because there's another Doctor Who magazine coming out which looks like it's a big deluxe one. So I guess that's going to be covering more about the Centenary.
Yeah, I suppose then they can properly show off stuff, because by now we'll definitely have a trailer.
So, definitely have a trailer, because like it's interesting because there's like screen grabs from the trailer in it, and like, oh, have they not got any more resources or anything? Yeah, but it's cool looking at these dudes are back. Very epic. They're cool.
It feels like they really have gone all out with it. Maybe because the promotion, like the department of it all, has wrapped up.
Yeah,
BBC Studios and stuff. So maybe this is Russell like getting to push things over to DWM,
which is not. Yeah, because it's interesting how sort of Russell's pretty much there at the get go. He's like, "Yes, I'm back, but got to wait a bit longer."
Yeah, so it makes it look a bit even more overstuffed. It very much looks like it's going to be like the, I suppose, fourth part of the Timeless Children trilogy / quadrilogy now.
But it's sort of their last chance, isn't it? Really, I'm glad that the Cyber Warriors or Cyber Lords, whatever they're called, are back, because it feels like that was a missing plot thread.
They were very much just marched out at the end, and then that was about it.
It's some awkward ADR.
Yeah,
but it's all right. Yeah.
It's just like it's hoping that with the time they've had, a lot of the weird production issues don't affect this story.
I mean, it's in that story wrapped filming like 13 months ago.
Yeah, it's mad.
So it must be weird for the people finally getting to see it after so long, because it's been signed off for a good couple of months now, hasn't it? Really?
Yeah, I imagine so. Probably already before Russell started filming.
And I think what was revealed is Tegan and Ace weren't originally in it, but because it's part of the BBC celebration, like, oh, we can put them in. I'm sure there'll be more surprises within it.
Yeah. It's sort of to worry if we already know so much is going to be in it. Like, apparently Tegan has scenes with Vinda.
Okay.
I've heard, so, or at least at least they share a scene together. I mean, this is the Whittaker era, so it could just be they're all standing in a room at the same time while the Doctor gives a speech. But well, we'll see. Not really. Try not to get too hyped for it, because we know we've been burned by this era so many times. But at least it'll be the final time, at least.
But it feels like it's over, but it's not over. It's like sort of that we've had the goodbye already.
We sort of accepted that it's over. We're looking forward to what's next, but we've still got this to go.
But I am looking forward to it. It's 90 minutes. It's going to be wrapping off an era. It's a bit of Doctor Who history. and just to see what that ending is, really.
Yeah, see where things go from here. I mean, going back to the Cyberlords, I believe Chris Chibnall wanted them to start working on that design and sorting that out before they even got to work on Legend of the Sea Devil stuff, like the Sea Devil costumes, even though that was filmed first. So it does feel like this one at least is having some time and prep put into it.
Yeah.
To really give it the head start. Hopefully it is Chris Chibnall's magnum opus, I suppose.
Yeah, because Legend of the Sea Devil theoretically shouldn't really exist. We have it. You could argue we shouldn't really have it at all. But yeah.
That would have been an interesting gap though, like going from Eve of the Daleks and then not having anything until October, and that being the end of Jodie Whittaker era.
Yeah, it's sort of nice of the BBC to go, well, we're sorry that COVID kind of mucked you around. Have this.
Yeah. I think it's also strange with Sacha Dhawan, because I feel like he's made quite an impact as the Master. Because we haven't, it's been 2 years since we had him on screen, but it doesn't feel like it's been that long. And I suppose it's only been like an 8-episode gap between Timeless Children. 9-episode gap. Sorry, I forgot about Revolution between then and now. But yeah, it does feel odd, doesn't it, that he's only been in 4 episodes, and even then, like he only turned up at the very end of Ascension of the Cybermen, and wasn't actually revealed as the Master until Spyfall, end of Spyfall Part 1. So realistically, we've only had 2 full episodes with him as the Master.
And he's definitely one of the standout things from Whittaker's era. Like, I think that's one thing we can all agree on.
Yeah, so they're very excited to see what Big Finish does in that spin-off.
Yeah, until next year.
No, I believe there's something in the magazine about, the possibility of him carrying on. Like, will he be simply a part of the Whittaker era, or could Russell keep him around? And hopefully Russell does.
I hope he does. Because that's one thing what I liked about John Sim coming back, because it felt like proper mastery in a way that he kind of continued onwards, really.
Yeah. Like, there isn't necessarily a need to reboot the show completely every time. I mean, we are certainly getting a reboot of sorts going forward, but I think an element like just the actor playing the Master can be brought forward, and maybe given a bit of a redo with a different writer, but still as the same actor. So similar to what we had with Sim, as he got written quite differently under Moffat and got to play it with the goatee at last. But also, like, I think in terms of a more pop culture comparison, I suppose, the way Thor in the Marvel films has transitioned from where he began with the first couple of movies, and then getting a bit of a reboot with Ragnarok, and that really launched the character's popularity. And it's like the same actor still in the role, and it is still the same character and universe, but a different creative team in a different direction. And it just feels totally renewed, really. And I think Doctor Who can take that same approach, whether it be with the Master or any elements, really. Like, it sort of did that with the Fourth Doctor and Sarah Jane, I suppose, versus Third Doctor and Sarah Jane. Because Elizabeth Sladen has said before that she was expecting to be, given the boot so that Philip Hitchcock could leave his own mark and come up with his own companion. But no, he really liked her, kept her on, and sort of was able to do a bit more of. I mean, I say do more of his own thing with her, but it really was just let her and Tom do their own thing.
Yeah.
And
even though I think Sarah's character suffered for it. But that's by the by.
Yeah, true. But yeah, at least it shows that there is the precedent for it, and that you don't need to completely wipe the slate clean in order to have a fresh start for a show. Because Doctor Who's the only real show that seems to do that.
It's like Yaz. Is Yaz carried on?
No.
Because like, the way Mandip Gill says that Yaz's ending sort of open-ended in a way. It's hard to say because we've not seen it, but then people have been speculating she's been TCE'd.
Yeah, that's true, because it definitely looks like the Master's holding her. Not only does Chibnall bury his gaze, he belittles them as well.
Damn.
Hello, Doctor Who TV in the chat.
Hello.
Yes, how
Thanks
are you,
for
Ben?
joining. I'm all right. How are you, Luke?
I'm not too bad. That's
wonderful.
It. Shall we get into Big Finish news now?
Yes, let's move on to some more Big Finish. Yeah, I shall share a screen and we shall get going with some Big Finish news, of course. And if I can get the old Big Finish page up.
We've had a couple, haven't we?
Yeah, we were going to do some of this on Sunday for the animation tier list, but it didn't feel right to cover Big Finish on that.
Yeah, especially when we had this planned for not long after. It was only a couple of bits of news, so we thought we'll cover them all together, really.
So I guess first bit is Sullivan and Cross.
Only some 7th Doctor news, because we had this title revealed back in June, didn't we? Like immediately after.
Same day,
Silver and Ice. Yeah, either the same day or like the day after, maybe.
Yeah.
No, I think it was the same day because it was in the article itself, the release article for Silver and Ice.
Yeah.
And so from that, we were able to work out pretty quickly that it was Harry Sullivan and Naomi Cross. And yeah, it was just waiting for some proper news on it, and we finally got it. No cover yet, sadly.
Yeah, it's the last piece
for this week, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's the last piece of news for the relaunch, isn't it? And now the page is frozen. Good old Big Finish.
Oh dear.
There we go.
But yeah, so we've got Harry Sullivan and Naomi Cross, companions of the 4th Doctor, who we've not even met yet chronologically. Their first story with the 4th Doctor isn't coming out until
2024.
March 2024. But they've already had a couple of adventures with Unit, with Kate Stewart and co. in Unit Nemesis. So I mean, this will be a year after their debut, won't it? Because that was November last year, 2021. But they didn't really do much for me in that set. Okay. I mean, they're only in one of the stories, but yeah, I mean, hopefully alongside the Doctor, it feels more proper. But even so, I just thought, want to get to know them with the 4th Doctor first before we have all this other stuff.
Yeah, because it feels like they're trying to be too smart for their own good at the minute.
I mean, it's very much just a sign of the 4th Doctor, how that's recorded compared with the rest of Big Finish, in that they want to tell these stories and keep this going, but at the same time, because of the way the releases work, they can't quite wait to tell them.
Yeah.
So
unless they double up on the Tom releases.
Too late for that now, I think.
Yeah.
Especially because that's going to be free releases after, isn't it? Although it's still the same amount of discs, same runtime, just spread across 3 box sets rather than 2. But we got Daleks back in a 2-parter, Scream of the Daleks by Elizabeth Miles, is it?
Lisa McMullen.
Sorry. Lisa McMullen, yeah. And then London Orbital by John Dornley, 4-parter. So
there's a lot of pressure on the Dalek story.
Yeah, that's true.
Because our last
2 parts.
I don't think Daleks work for 2-parters, to be honest. So I didn't enjoy Nightmare of the Daleks.
No, I can't say that was that great. Dalek Soul, I think that's a good 2-parter.
But that's a very different story, isn't it? It's not your atypical Doctor versus Dalek, is it really?
Well, this might not be a typical Doctor versus Dalek.
I doubt it.
It'd
be interesting to know what Daleks will be on the cover.
That's true. But yeah, I suppose, is this going to be an ongoing arc with the Seventh Doctor and Naomi and Harry? Like, is this arc going to conclude before we meet them in the Fourth Doctor Adventures? Or is this just a one-off thing?
Is this the final days of the Seventh Doctor where he's got to tie up loose ends? And Harry and Naomi are one of the loose ends he's got to fix?
With this, I sort of more want it to be younger McCoy and just have a bit of fun with the Seventh Doctor, really.
Okay.
But I suppose that's sort of the question of the cover art, really, isn't it? That'll probably reveal
where it is.
What McCoy we're getting here.
I mean, I want the New Adventures team back, to be honest. It just seems a shame that box set just kind of happened, and I thought that was one of the best box sets Big Finish have done, really.
I think someone asked about it in Vortex recently, and Nick Briggs said no plans at the moment for any more with them. Sort of the usual thing of, but they're great, aren't they? Travis Oliver and Yasmin Bannerman, but I suppose it's one of the other things sort of hurt by everything being relaunched, isn't it? That we're sort of moving away from old, not quite Big Finish original because they're original to the novels, but they come with baggage, don't they? They require a bit more homework, so they're not quite as friendly for this. But then again, arguably these two, Harry and Naomi, come with baggage. It's just baggage that hasn't even been released yet.
Yeah.
Timey-wimey baggage.
I'm sure once we get the Fourth Doctor stuff, we'll be like, this is great. And then you can sort of go through it chronologically.
I'm worried that we're going to get the Fourth Doctor stuff and I'm just going to be sick of them already.
Yeah, because I've heard it. I don't need their introduction. But Sea Devils.
It was so exciting when we first got that news. But now we're getting so much in the meantime.
Yeah, because you think with Tom, like, he really excels with the original companions. That's no disrespect to Lala Ward, Mary Tam, or Louise Jameson, but there's just something quite exciting about Jane Slavin and, Margaret now.
Yeah. She's still at least all Tom's. She's not quite swanning off with a different Doctor yet.
Well, companion piece.
Yeah, true.
Gets a little mention. Gets a mention.
But there isn't another Doctor there.
Yeah, true. Well, does the 9 count? Because technically he was the Doctor.
No.
All right, that's just neckbeard territory.
Yeah. He was only pretending. It was a case of mistaken identity.
Okay.
Doctor Who TV asks, how many years have you been a Doctor Who fan, Ben and Luke?
I'd say 17 since it came back.
Yeah, probably same, I think.
There we go. We're on the same page.
I mean, speaking of companion piece, 8th Doctor Liv and Helen story, we've got news of
there
the
we
next
go.
8th Doctor Liv and Helen stories. They're standalone adventures now, which, I mean, we said before, but I think that's a good decision to transition into after 10 years nearly of these 4-part box set epics.
Yeah.
And so we've got a 2-part Dalek story, but hopefully not plagued by the same issue as Scream of the Daleks, in that it is 2 hour-long parts instead. Paradox of the Daleks. And then the 1 part, The Dabbly Spook, set on the Isle of Man with a talking mongoose named Jeff.
Hey, I like the sound of it already.
I'll be honest, like, I was sort of more excited for this box set before this news dropped. I don't know what it is about it, but it just...
Yeah, you've got a great cover, and then the trailer didn't get me that excited.
Yeah, it's like it was more exciting when it was a lot of mystery. Now it's a bit less mystery. But I mean, it's John Dorney writing Paradox of the Daleks. At least he's done a great job with Palindrome recently. So.
Did I get that feeling from the synopsis of this?
Yeah, it seems that it might be Time War connected. There's the mention in the synopsis of a war on many temporal fronts, isn't there?
And the Dalek as well.
Yeah, that's true. It is very much a Time War Dalek. I mean, not technically not the earliest we've seen him though, because Shadow of the Daleks.
Yeah. It's weird how like the bronze Daleks have just become part of the furniture now on a cover.
Yeah, that's true. It almost doesn't feel right still having them there with the Eighth Doctor.
Yeah, I mean they look
at least
great.
not Time War Eighth Doctor.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully it'll be good. It'll be good to get back with these characters. Really, I have missed them.
Yeah, after Stranded, yeah.
I mean, that feels like so long ago now. And I think it's also just nice to have the Eighth Doctor among the stars again, out travelling. Because
I think that's why I really like the Charlie set, because it was just nice. Here's some fun adventures, really.
Yeah, like as great as Stranded was, it certainly felt like a slog to get through at times, mainly because of how the long gaps between box sets. But also just how different it was. It's not something you can easily stick on and have fun with. It's very much more something you've got to be in the mood for, I'd say. It's something that is a bit more heavy. You've got to think a bit more with it. Not just in terms of, timey-wiminess and confusing plots, but also in terms of the messages it's going for. It's quite heavy stuff, and so it does often make you sit down and think for a while afterwards. Yeah. Sarah Jane Smith's husband is the tortured SUV.
Oh,
he's the one from The Wedding of Sarah Jane Smith.
I was thinking of a different Nigel, to be honest.
No, it mentions him in the.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, there he is.
Oh, yeah.
It's very much.
He does that. He does that little antique show, isn't it? Like, is it the auction room or bidding room? I don't know.
He looks like the type of person who would do that sort of show.
Yeah. But yeah,
that sounds like a lot of fun.
I mean, it's tempting. It has sort of a tropical beach vibe to it. I think that it's quirky and experimental, and I'm kind of down for it.
I like Yanto in his yellow shirt there.
I mean, it's a good combo, good shirt combo.
Yeah, it pops a bit more.
Yeah, I mean, I like a great cover. It's simple.
It's great. I'm more looking forward to the Lincolnshire Poacher, the November one, and the Empire Man, the Queen Elizabeth one. I think I'm also very tempted by the Ace one this month. So this is sort of like the one that's snugly in the middle. That is like, if I'm getting 3 releases around it, maybe I'll just get this one as well, because it doesn't look too bad either. But yeah, it's just going to be wait and see, really.
I mean, there's so much coming on with Big Finish. So yeah, it's easily done.
Yeah, so you don't want to go too all out and spend all your money.
Yeah, I mean, with the price increase in November, it's kind of getting to that point where you're like, right, do I just splurge?
Yeah, I mean, it's being mentioned quite a few times, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow, in articles about. Yeah, I'm still not sure how it's going to work. Because I mean, if you go to the 11th Doctor article, which we'll talk about in a sec, or do you want to talk about 10th Doctor first?
Oh, we can do 10th Doctor.
Yeah, because I mean, that's more just it's out now. Enjoy, but
yeah.
I mean, you said you've listened to the first story of this set. I've not quite got to this one yet.
Yeah, I have listened to Splinters, which is the Leela story. We mentioned about just hearing Tennant's joy of having K9 back.
Yeah.
You get that. You get a big smile on your face when K9 comes back, and I'll say it uses the secondary console room in a very interesting way.
Oh, I think it is. It's meant to be a very good set for K9, I've heard.
Which is nice. That K9 gets some love. Because there were a moment when there's some tree creatures, and I thought, right, this is where K9 gets his head whacked off. If this was an 80s story, he would get his head whacked off. But
I mean, even if there's a 2000 story, I think they had their issues with the prop on school reunion, didn't they?
But yeah, the Spridgen, a great villain.
Oh,
a very good villain.
You said it has a Grimm's fairy tale vibe, didn't you?
Yeah, it's sort of Cornish folklore.
Do you feel like it sort of maybe calls back to the Hinchcliffe era with Leela being there?
I'd say it's a bit of that, and I guess sort of the futuristic nature of what 2000s telly could do.
Intriguing.
Yeah. So I'll leave that there for people to digest. If you've listened to it, you know what I mean.
Yeah, because they're quite vague with these stories in terms of what you're getting from them. It feels weird that it's out because it's something that was announced so long ago. We've been waiting for so long.
Yeah, and then not much hoo-ha about it. You're like, oh, okay. It's up to Doctor Who fans are going, by the way, this is out. This is the news.
Yeah. I mean, Ben Lett, Host Productions, has been doing a great job with sort of filling in for that out on.
He's been the intern, isn't he?
Yeah, he's to take. It's like the Thanos meme of "Fine, I'll do it myself." Sharing the news in the same way that Big Finish would have done out on Twitter. I mean, even getting retweeted by some of the writers and such as well.
Doing the Lord's work. The Lord's work.
So, I mean, this next news was certainly something I found out about from him tweeting it out. So, cheers to Ben for that one.
Yeah, the 11th Doctor's new bionic companion, even though this is for the second box set.
Yeah, we've already got a cover for February's release. I mean, best cover of 2023 so far.
Yeah, I can hands down say.
I say that jokingly because we've only had a couple, but I do really like this cover actually. I prefer it to the Geronimo cover. It's wonderful stuff.
The Geronimo sort of feels like a placeholder now.
It very much has that feeling of sort of like a new series poster, similar to what you have with the Doctor and Amy, where the ground explodes. You know, that sort of image.
Yes, yeah.
Whereas this feels more like a Big Finish cover, I suppose. But wonderful stuff. Matt Smith's looking great there.
It looks very vinyl-y cover. I could see it working well as a vinyl. Big Finish.
I mean, she's the same artist who does do the 9th Doctor covers now.
Yeah,
and the 7th Doctor. So it makes me excited for what she could cook up for Sullivan and Cross. AWOL.
I think just having the Snowman 11th Doctor, it feels very unique and different because obviously it's in between Snowman and Bells of St. John, so it feels like its own era in itself, really. It's very exciting.
Caroline Tankersley is the artist.
Very good cover artist.
Yeah, I think it's interesting seeing her progression as it's gone along. I mean, it already made a very solid start with Time Jacked. But
very good cover.
It's getting better and better since then. And this certainly is one of my favorites. It certainly made me. I was sort of much more on the fence before about this whole series, but now with this cover and this news, I think I'm probably gonna go get it.
Whoa! Okay.
I'm saying Geronimo. I'm diving in.
Tier list time. And,
all of Time and Space as well. It's a fitting title for the 11th Doctor, isn't it?
Oh yeah, he said it in 11th Hour, didn't he?
Yeah.
So it feels great. But I guess the next box set title's in the 11th hour somewhere.
Yeah, maybe. Who the man?
Who the man?
Who the man?
That's the final box set. That's a nice sentence for Jacob Dudman. Who the man, Jacob Dudman?
No, there's a mystery as to who the villain is, and we find out he's male at the end of the second box set. So that leads into the third reveal of Who the Man.
I want it. I want it.
But Alfie Short, if you've not already come up with a title for the box set, listen to us. Who the Man.
Who the Man. Oh, that's great. I don't think we can top that, to be honest.
Should we just end the stream here?
Yeah.
Yeah, 42. Pretty good. Go pick it up. Goodbye.
Yeah. Bye. See you later. See you later, everyone. Yeah.
No, still got more news to discuss. Where have we actually? Was there another?
We've got new Tortured People.
Ah, yeah. I mean, that's more of like a. Yeah, that was it. Like the Tortured Writers is more of an editorial one, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's not really necessarily any news, but it's an interesting read if you're into the Tortured range. But yeah, a day after it escaped from its time loop, it's back out of its time loop again because
third time actually.
The only story we can tell with Axos now.
Yeah, it's the third time, isn't it?
Yeah, certainly within Big Finish. I mean, you're already locked into this one because you got the bundle of Unit Nemesis.
Yeah, because I put Tom Baker in and I thought, well, if he's going to be in it, I better commit.
And then he's not turned up in the next two sets.
It's one of those things where the bundle, it's cheaper overall.
Yeah.
And if I didn't do the bundle, Tom would have been in all of them. And then I'd be like, well, I could have saved money.
Yeah, Tom Baker stood you up in the end.
What a guy.
Yeah. But I can't say I'm that excited about this now. I feel like maybe if I still haven't carried on with Unit Nemesis, the series as a whole. I did the first 3 episodes. I've got the first 2 box sets, so I've got 5 more episodes to go. But yeah, I can't say I'm that interested in it. I don't have the motivation to carry on. Maybe I will do at some point, and then it'll be amazing, and I'll go, well, I've got to pick up Objective Earth now. But
yeah,
there's no incentive for me at the moment to pick this one up.
Yeah, we're all about Bambera. That Bambera life.
We've got our unit series now, so yeah, we'll stick with that.
Yeah.
I guess, did you go bundle for that one as well, or did you pick up?
Yeah, I did bundle for Bambera.
No.
Because I thought it was a quiet month, so I was like, oh, go on then.
Yeah. Oh, back to the 11th Doctor article.
Okay, we can do that.
There's certainly something interesting at the bottom where it does say again about the price updates. So all the above prices include the special pre-order discount and are subject to change after release. For November 22, new pre-order prices will apply for unreleased box sets. So does this mean that Geronimo, when it comes out, will remain at that same price for like the couple of months it's exclusive to Big Finish, and then go up because it's technically released at that point, and then just go up to its new normal price? Or will that, because it's still at the pre-order price after it comes out, will that apply? Will it go up with the rest?
I have no idea.
I need to know this, Big Finish, for my order, because it sounds like that from the way it's phrased, that, you know, the October box sets will stay at the same pre-order price until the time has passed for them to usually go up in price. But will they go up in price a bit start of November and then go up to their full price again at December or whenever?
I just want to know, like, the pricing, to be honest.
Yeah, what the pricing is actually going to be.
then I'll happily go from there. Really.
I mean, I got my hopes up that we were getting news about that today because we had that price rollback thing.
Yeah, I thought, oh, what's this? It's just a sale, isn't it?
Yeah. It's just most of the recent box sets going back to their pre-order prices. I mean, Tortured One's
Frobisher's returning.
Yeah.
Frobisher's back confirmed. There we go.
Yeah, Tortured One. Nightmares is there if you're tempted by that. That's back to pre-order price.
It is tempting. I did look at it. I was like, oh, that is a tempting offer.
Yeah, we shall see.
Yeah.
Doctor Who TV says Kate Stewart returned for 60th anniversary and become a Zygon again. Not of the Robert Banks Stewart estate. Has anything to say about it?
Yeah, still radio silence on those big finishes.
Yeah, it's been well over a month now.
So if you've got those, you've got some gold dust, really.
Yeah.
I guess speaking of gold dust, Fifth Doctor.
Doctor Who TV says, "I'm Sam. Call me Sam." Sorry, Sam.
Sorry, Sam.
Call you Sam from now on. Yeah.
Speaking of gold dust, Adric's badge, Fifth Doctor. Really bad segue. Fifth Doctor 40 time.
Yeah, let's go for it.
But first, we're going high tech, much like the first 50 string we did. We have a trailer, so sit back and enjoy the trailer. If you've seen it, enjoy it again because it's a good trailer.
Yeah, grab some popcorn.
And we'll be back in about 2 minutes to talk about this release.
Obscure reference to an old alliance. Just his style. Whose style?
We have the tactical advantage.
But now we have to let them know the invasion has begun.
My men in masks.
Whatever they did to Third Squad, they might be about to do it to us.
And that's where all the Autons are. Let me see. Ah, yes. And there are a lot of them waiting.
And I am afraid, Doctor, that something is terribly wrong.
There we go. That is a trailer for 42, Auton Infinity.
It is a gorgeous trailer, isn't it?
It is. It flows nicely with the first one.
Right, same aspect ratio as well, isn't it?
Oh, that's neckbeard territory right
there.
there.
There we go. We're keeping consistent tonight, aren't we?
Unlike
the aspect ratio. Yeah, unlike the Big Finish spines.
Yeah,
they could do a consistent style of trailer, but they can't do a consistent spine collection.
Damn.
But they can also deliver a very good story. And I mean, the music in that trailer is gorgeous, isn't it? And that's very much the music for the story itself. Just something to point out while I remember, because I feel like as we get into the more of the nitty-gritty with this story, stuff like that slips your mind. Yeah, music and sound design in general, I think, is something that we don't often praise enough when it comes to Big Finish, because
it's a prevalent thing.
It's always so good that you take it for granted, don't you?
It's a make or break,
you only
isn't
really
it?
notice when it's bad.
Yeah, God of Phantom.
But certainly here it is wonderful music and some great sound design as well. And I think it suits that celebratory tone, doesn't it?
Yeah, it makes it more of an occasion, and this story is an occasion. It's not only 40 years of the Fifth Doctor, but it's concluding that section, really.
And it's got quite a bit of scale to it as well. And I think that adds that presence to the story.
Yeah, because we were very interested because it's a six-parter. It's unheard of the Fifth Doctor era to have a six-parter.
Certainly Big Finish. I don't think they've done a six-part for the Fifth Doctor before.
Unless you count Cold Fusion.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But does that count because it's a novel?
And it's also Seventh Doctor there as well. But I mean, I suppose it counts in the same way as the Annihilators counts as a 7-part for the Third Doctor, really, doesn't it? Because it's still very much, Third Doctor / Fifth Doctor story, just with another Doctor also thrown in there.
But it's quite a chunky one.
It's very rare to have a story of this scale, and it's not just a 6-part. Like you say, it's quite a chunky 6-part. Like most episodes are longer than 30 minutes. I think 4 of them are about 45 minutes.
Yeah, about 35.
Oh, did I say 4? Yeah, 35.
Yeah, 35. Yeah, I was like,
yeah,
45.
They're not quite 45. They're not
what version did you get?
I got the 6-disc extended edition.
Oh, damn! I didn't get that one. Might open the CD, see if it actually has those discs in.
I mean, funnily enough, there is room to fit 6 discs in there, isn't there?
Well, there you go. Well, you've started a conspiracy there.
So yeah, there's a hidden compartment. It's bigger on the inside.
Well, it is 40 years after all.
It's a Type 40.
Oh, smooth.
And to be fair, on the topic of 40 as the title, that does play a role in it, doesn't it? Like, it's not just 40 years of the Fifth Doctor. Type 40, there is a reason why the box set's called 40 beyond just that. So that is
very clever. And yeah. So I think we've gushed about the length of the story. Should we talk about the story itself? What did you make of it? Since we were a bit lukewarm on the first box set, pun intended there.
Yeah.
I
suppose we were a bit cold on it, given we had the Tombs on Telos, although not quite, and Iceland.
Yes. And we were sort of saying that much like the Sixth Doctor set with Waterworld, the second set will either make or break this series or set of adventures, and I think it's safe to say that 40 has redeemed itself.
This certainly makes 40, doesn't it? Because you could almost just get this box set on its own. Like the way the arc overall works with it, it's very much like effect and cause, or where this is the cause of everything that's happening in 40, and the other 2 stories, Secret Telos and God of War, are sort of caught from the side effects of that, I suppose. And so, a lot of the mysteries you get there, a lot of, wondering. It's more just, an excuse to tell these different stories and to make this longer of an arc, longer of a mystery. But with 42, it's where everything really is in terms of all that. Like the other 2 stories are almost inconsequential. They could be anything really. And so instead, it's quite clever how they do use that as a way to plant red herrings, don't they?
Yeah.
It's like where you think it could be going from 41 is probably not where it's going to end up going. And I think that's all for the better, really.
Yeah, I think especially with a 6-parter, you need it to have legs, and this certainly has legs with how it utilizes each setting, how it progresses the story forward, and how many twists and turns there are and revelations where you do feel very satisfied when you finish it.
Yeah, it pulls the rug out from under you several times. Like, from the synopsis and what you can gather from the trailer there of, the basic story is the Fifth Doctor, Tegan and Turlough arrive in Snowdonia, where UNIT is running a training exercise with, fake aliens being there to test their metal. But it turns out that real aliens have infiltrated the fake alien group, and so UNIT is actually under attack for real instead of the training exercise they expect. The Brigadier's there overseeing it, of course, which gives John Coleshaw a chance to play him once again, adding another Doctor to his Brigadier collection now. He's done the 3rd, the 9th, 7th, second, 8th in Unit Dating, Stranded, and now he's got the 5th there as well. So it's great having him there. Also playing Chameleon, and for the first time in full cast, the Master. So you've got all those elements in there, and that basic premise. That's pretty much all played out by the end of episode 2.
Yeah, and you think,
so
where
by
are
the
we
time
going
you
to
get
go?
to the end of episode 2, you're like, yeah, where is this going to go from here? And so it's one that it does justify its 6-part length very well and keeps you guessing throughout. There's not really a dip in the middle, is there? It's the same sort of structure that I feel like the 4th Doctor era used to justify its 6-parters, like Seeds of Doom. How that was almost like a 2-parter followed by a 4-parter.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because I think part 4 is when we go back to part 2 stuff. Really, you get this nice sort of shift in part 3, and then we go back to like the main event of the story. Really.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, it's segmented nicely.
What did you make of the use of the Autons in this story? Because they're treated quite differently, and some interesting stuff is done with them.
I think I admired sort of the sort of lore aspect of it. It reminded me very much of sort of State of Decay, 4th Doctor sort of vibe I got off it, really. Especially when we get to sort of the end of Auton Infinity with the whole purpose of like Prodigal, is it?
Yeah, that's right.
With her mission, I think they use all right, but they're not used heavily. They're sort of traditional Autons in the sense, but they're not they're not front and center. They're sort of in the background. They're furniture, really, aren't they?
Yeah, they're there to add to the character drama in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
but I mean, with Prodigal herself, you do get quite a good character there, really, and it's nice how Tegan connects with her throughout the story. But yeah,
and this story does some good stuff with Tegan. It sort of explains why. Well, Resurrection of the Daleks, and this story does that more ways than one.
Yeah, I mean, it does for Tegan and Turlough. It does pick up right after Frontios, doesn't it? This is sort of squeezing in a new gap
again.
Okay, yeah, but it does get to play quite nicely with that Tegan is getting tired of all the death and destruction raining down around her at this point, but is instead met with there's this wonderful scene where, because the Doctor's being thrown around his own timeline, he's like, it's nice to have you here as a constant. And it's one of those rare moments where they're putting their guard down a bit, aren't they? They always have this antagonistic front towards each other, this banter between them. But there's this rare moment where they are a bit more open with each other, and it's wonderfully performed by Janet and Peter there.
Yeah, I think it was a nice sort of celebration for Tegan as a character, but she is that constant for the 5th Doctor's life, really.
Yeah. And so I think it makes sense in exploring that to have this set right towards the end where she is thinking of departing the TARDIS now.
Yeah, especially with what happens to, is it 3rd Squad?
But I mean, for the 5th Doctor as well, I feel like it justifies it being a celebration of the 5th Doctor, because a lot of people were pointing out when these were announced that, oh, you're celebrating the 5th Doctor with Cybermen from the second, like a sequel to a Second Doctor story, Ice Warriors from the Second Doctor era, and Autons and Unit from the Third Doctor's era. Like, where is the Fifth Doctor celebration here? This story has it in buckets, doesn't it? And even in some more meta ways, as well, which I can't. Yeah, it's hard to really get into that, but it is very much focused on the Fifth Doctor himself.
It's the Fifth Doctor's Five Doctors, isn't it? The story has that great Five Doctors feel to it, like you said before.
Yeah, great celebratory tone, and also a good amount of references, but references that work really well and add to the mythos and the story itself.
Like Snowden and Tibet. Like it's
that was a fun
timed
little one.
nicely with Abominable Snowman coming out on animation. But it was great. It's nice sort of wink nod, that's for the fans, like the brig, sort of joking with Turtle about, oh, you better not do any damage like you did to my car. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
You're never gonna forgive me for that. Yeah, stuff like that. It's like quite joyous. It's a nice continuation of where that era was,
Yeah. Yeah, there's like the deeper cuts right down to what is the Rowan Atkinson one?
Oh, Curse of Fatal Death.
Yeah, that's it. The title slipped me for some reason there. Like you could get references to that, and then you get like your typical TV references, and also some Big Finish deep cuts throughout as well.
Yeah, part of me thought they were referencing Mark at one point, but it was Adric. I was like, oh, okay.
I suppose I thought they may be more trying to keep it TV centric in that sense.
Yeah.
But it's interesting how 40, a lot of it is very much built around different aspects of the Fifth Doctor's TV era. Because for the Fifth Doctor being thrown around his time stream, it's very much set between 4 to Doomsday and Kinder. It's like he's very much, a Doctor early on in his own lifetime. And then Secrets of Telos, the way they talk about that, it seems to be quite recently after Auton Infinity.
Yeah. If Tegan just joining back, yeah.
Yeah. I think God of War, that's another attempt to get Tegan back. So maybe that. Oh, and yeah, I think that must be after Kinder and before the Visitation. Because Adric's talking about how the Doctor's still mad about the machine from Kinder.
Oh, yeah. It's a little travel thing.
Yeah, and then like we said with the Auton Infinity, that's very much between Frontios and Resurrection of the Daleks. So it's interesting how it's getting those gaps even more so than normal.
And I could say another story, but it's a spoiler.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of little wonderful bits like that. Hello, Mr. Boncactus.
Hello.
Says evening, lads.
Evening to you. Hope you're having a good evening.
Yeah, it's filled with so many wonderful moments throughout like that. And yeah, I mean, it's not just references that make this story, because they're just they're the icing on the cake, really, aren't they? And this is a very layered cake filled with lots of different flavors that all work very well together.
Just the lore of the Nestine, the whole sort of.
You even get the new series Nestine sound.
Yeah. You get you get the actual Nestine consciousness in there. It's just great. I just like hearing the spearhead sound effects, to be honest. That just brings me joy.
It's like goosebumps, isn't it, when you hear those?
Yeah.
It's
great.
The Autons.
And like the actual ship, what's used, it expands not only on like the Nestine lore, but also Time Lord. And it's for the Master, it's a great continuation from the Five Doctors, and I think there's a nice dynamic between Brig and Ainley, what Ainley's Master what wasn't seen in the Five Doctors.
Yeah, sort of that little bit that's teased, isn't it? And it is very much going back to they had this sort of rapport in the Pertwee era, didn't they?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, what did you make of Ainley? Well, Coleshaw, but yeah, the Master within the story.
I enjoyed him I think it was only right that he was a part of the Fifth Doctor 40 because he's a big part of the Fifth Doctor's era. But I think there's still a bit of work for Coleshaw to do with him. I think he works with the more quieter Engley moments. He doesn't get the aha, I've got you now moments.
He's often whispering, isn't it? It feels like
Yeah.
he's whispering a lot in his impression.
Like the chuckle's great.
Mm.
And the laugh's there. It's just for the more louder moments where you're like, oh, yeah, not quite there.
It's great how he works when acting with himself as well, isn't that?
Yeah, with Chameleon, Brig, yeah.
Because certainly there are some scenes where it's just the Master and the Brig, and you don't get the impression that it's just one person talking to themselves. But yeah, certainly when it comes to the Brig, Chameleon, and the Master's probably the weakest of his three.
It's still recognizable as the Engley Master.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you heard the laugh there in the trailer.
Because I think that was one of the exciting things, just to have like a proper. We're actually going for that now because we've had it sort of teetered with, what is it, Hollows of Time and End of the Line as well.
Yeah, and then we got the short trip, didn't we? Where he voiced the Engley Master. I can't remember, with the Time Lord Victorious.
Yeah, the Cthulhu. It's not Master Thief, it's something else. Master.
Yeah, I'll have to look this up now.
I'll have a little Google.
Go for it.
I'll have a little Google.
But yeah, certainly he's such a big part of the 80s era, isn't he?
Yeah.
And it feels odd that Big Finish haven't really touched him until now.
Yeah, I mean,
a staple
I would like a Colin story with him.
That'd be good. Especially because he doesn't really have a proper one on TV.
Yeah, with Colin.
Like he's either sharing the limelight with the Rani or the Valiard, and even like Trial of a Time Lord, he just sort of shows up for more of a cameo, doesn't he? Really?
Yeah. Lesser Evils is the short trip.
There we go. But yes, hopefully more from John Coleshaw as the Anthony Ainley incarnation of the Master. So the door has been open now.
Yeah, more ways than one, really.
Would also be interesting to see if we get a bit more with, say, Nyssa and Tegan in like their attitudes towards them, because certainly that was used here, wasn't it, in a way that the TV show never really did, because the Master is obviously responsible for the death of Aunt Vanessa and the destruction of Traken as well. And so in this story, Tegan does get to actually reference that herself. It shows some of that anger towards the Master. Whereas often on TV, there was obviously anger there, but it was a bit more generic, really, wasn't it? Because of the way the writing was at the time, they weren't going full into the character and how they felt about everything. It was just, oh, he's a bad guy. I need to despise him.
I think this is where sort of Big Finish sort of really excels, I think. Especially with the Fifth Doctor. I think the Fifth Doctor is definitely the Doctor, hot take, what has excelled the most on Big Finish with sort of canon plastering his era. You know, with the loss of Adric, that seemed like an untapped thing to mine. We've mined it now. Now we're starting to get the other things now, really.
Yeah. That whole crew in season 19 as well, like the potential for the dynamics there and the tension between them with like the differing personalities, the fact that they didn't all want to be traveling like Tegan and such, is stuff that was only really used for on the surface bickering on the TV show, but particularly with the Fifth Doctor box set, the way that's dealt with there, it's much more characterful, much more meaningful. And so it's wonderful what Big Finish has been able to do with him, and certainly he is a bit more of an underrated Doctor, isn't he? Really?
Yeah.
I suppose because he's less of an outspoken Doctor, he does tend to drift more a bit into the background.
It's just it's nice to have the Fifth Doctor back on fine form with this one, to be honest.
Ooh, Daniel Hagger, the Third Doctor fan, says, Luke and Ben, I would like the Third Doctor to meet the 10th Doctor in a Big Finish box set with the Brig and Joe versus the Diabolical Snowman and the Master.
That'd be an interesting story, yeah. That's a good old list of things to include.
Spotcax says, I got a very fun fact of the night. 2.5 million people died in the Battle of Stalingrad, and that's almost the amount of people living in Wales today.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's fun for people who died in Stalingrad, but
all the people who live in Wales.
Well, yeah. To be compared to that, yeah.
That's relevant to Fifth Doctor 40.
Yeah.
Snowdonia, after all.
That's true. Yeah, there we go. Back on topic.
I don't think you get any Welsh characters, though, funnily enough.
No, you don't. No, you don't, no.
Yeah. Well, I think it's all regular unit troops from England just driven over the border, aren't they, really?
Well, I guess that's the BBC in the 60s to film Abominable, really.
Yeah. I mean, what did you make of Veronica Holmes, the character in the story?
She felt very pertwee chin type character. I think that 40 does feel like a celebration of everything what's gone before and forward with the Fifth Doctor in a way.
Yeah.
It feels very Day of the Doctor, but for the Fifth Doctor.
Yeah, it's very much a celebration of the Fifth Doctor as a whole. It's hard to say why without spoiling it, but certainly it's worth a listen. And once you do, you'll know exactly what we mean. And I mean, kudos to a particular cliffhanger as well. I think this is more down to John Dorney, I believe, was this idea. Tim Foley tweeted out saying, this was John Dorney's "if you know, you know" moment. And yeah, if you're watching this and you've listened to the story, you know the particular cliffhanger we're talking about here. So yeah, I mean, you said you guessed it a little bit before, didn't you?
Yeah. I was sort of halfway through that episode. I was like, something's a bit off there.
And then
it's really hard not to say, but yeah, something was off, and I was like,
it's one of those ones that really does leave you grinning.
Yeah, you're like that feels very
to the
in
reveal.
keeping with the era.
It feels like it's so perfect because of what's involved as well.
Yeah, it's one of those oh shoot moments.
It's one of those things that's so obvious, but you miss it for so long.
But the story hides it so well.
Yeah.
How it just sort of brushes it all aside. It's great.
Yeah, it does feel like maybe it was more done for the effect of a cliffhanger, though, because after that, it doesn't really play too much of a part. There's a couple of references to it in a way, but I suppose it's just because the nature of how the story moves on, really.
Yeah, it's what the plot needs.
Yeah, but nevertheless, a brilliant jaw-dropping moment, and certainly one that leaves you wondering where exactly this story goes next. Because I think that's the fun thing about 40 as well, with it being more timey-wimey with the Fifth Doctor being thrown about his own time stream. You do wonder, could anything happen here? Because, could it all end in a reset or something, perhaps?
Yeah.
Does that mean that, companions could be for it? And then, this is sort of like an alternative version of them, perhaps, or something.
There are moments where you think Turlough and Tegan aren't going to make it.
Yeah. And so I think that keeps the tension up throughout in a way that Big Finish doesn't usually manage. Just because of the nature of you slotting in these old stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, it does deliver on the emotion at the end as well.
Yes.
And yeah. Oh, beautiful stuff from Tim Foley. It really is.
It shows that Tim Foley is definitely one of the main staples now, and I don't think he's disappointed from the stuff I've listened to, what he's done.
Certainly a good one at managing these longer stories as well. So I'm excited to see how he does with Diary of a River Song series 11, where he's doing like one long 4-hour story. So it's a step up from even this here.
I mean, it might not even be an hour. It might be over an hour, really, like the War Master stories from Self Defense.
Yeah, that's true.
So it could be a real chunky one.
I mean, certainly, if this is anything to go by, Tim Foley likes his chunky scripts.
You definitely don't feel shortchanged with it, you know?
You really do not.
Because I thought it'd be sort of quite short, snappy parts like the Annihilators. So when you message going, it's chunky, I was like, right, okay, this is promising.
But they fly by as well.
I mean, I listened to 4 episodes in a day, which is rare for me because I was just really enjoying it.
Especially at that length as well. But they just fly by. I mean, I did sort of take breaks in between, but the last 2 episodes, that's like, I mean, I think the last one's the longest, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, that's about 70 minutes straight of content. I listened to that all in one go and loved it.
Yeah, because I think I did 2 in the morning, then 2 at night.
I did 2 a day from the day it came out, and it's just really does go to show that I think, a lot of people sometimes will criticize, like Classic Who more in particular, when it comes to having the longer stories. But, it's not like every story is the same length, and then it's not like there's the same amount of story for each different story, and that's just stretched out at different lengths per story. Sometimes Classic Who doesn't quite justify a 6-parter, but other times it does.
I think this one definitely justifies it. The way, like we said earlier, it uses locations, how it shifts. Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah,
and how it loops back on itself as well.
Yeah, it keeps things fresh, keeps you guessing. Yeah, I mean, certainly, I feel like this is an easier listen than God of War, the 2-parter from the first set.
Yeah.
I mean, I did give a re-listen to the first 40 just before this set came out. In fact, I was able to time that pretty well because I finished God of War on the Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, this dropped. So,
how do you think it flowed together then?
I think it flowed very well. I'll be honest. It is almost a shame that they did take such a long gap between these, especially because this release feels even more so like the celebration of the Fifth Doctor era, whereas 41, even though it came out on that day, it isn't quite the full celebration just yet.
Yeah.
So, it's nice to have some more Peter Davison as well, because despite it being his 40th year, it's been fairly light on him.
Yeah, I thought it would have been lacking. It's been more, hey, let's celebrate Colin.
Yeah, let's give. I suppose it's just because Colin Baker's been available.
Watch when Colin gets his 40th anniversary, Davison will be like, right, it's my turn now.
Yeah, that's it.
You're going to have it.
I mean, that's not long away, really.
No, not at all. Another 2 years.
Yeah, because Twin Dilemma was at the end of season 21, so that's March. That's the same time that we're getting what's it called?
Sea Devils.
Sea Devil, Return of the Sea Devils, the Fourth Doctor and Naomi stuff. So, yeah, I mean that's less than 2 years away now.
Oh damn! We'll see you in 2 years for that.
Yeah. To see if they do anything special for Colin.
They'll definitely do 50 for Tom, surely.
Oh,
that's probably all done.
Yeah, there's got to be something there. But I think they are recording a bit more in advance with the Fifth Doctor stuff, though, I believe.
I guess because Davison's probably the most busiest out of the classic Doctors.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, Conflicts of Interest was done 24th to 26th of January and 28th to 30th of March this year, despite not being out until April, whereas, often they'll record just 6 months in advance.
And
I think 42 was that April last year? Yeah, 42 was April 2021. Because it's funny listening to the extras. You have one of the actors talking about, you can listen to this out on one of your permitted lockdown walks, and it's like, no, we're way beyond that now.
Well, we're way advanced now. Life has changed drastically since then.
It's been a strange 2 years. It's funny to look at.
Yeah,
They're like these little time
capsules,
capsules, aren't they? The extras in particular. I mean,
Yeah,
Fourth Doctor
definitely.
even more so. That a lot of that's still pre-pandemic that we're getting.
Yeah, gosh. It's moved away from on the lunch is great to I'm under my duvet right now recording this.
I miss the lunches.
Yeah. They're like, oh, I've travelled really far to the studio. I mean, I just rolled out of bed. Like a classic joke.
Yes, certainly they are getting more and more into studio now, though, aren't they?
Yeah. I think there's still a mix of it.
Yeah, sometimes they will like have people both in studio and phoning in, right? No,
Yeah.
but I think it's nice that it's opened up a lot more what Big Finish can do in terms of what actors are going to be available more.
Yeah. Especially like Lala Ward's case. He's in Hong Kong recording.
Yeah.
Just shows the wonders of, technology, really.
Yes. However much we might mock the extras for being made up of it is nice.
I'm glad we have them.
Yeah. Miss Monkcat says it's funny. I wake up every day forgetting COVID is still around. Yeah. So well, I suppose bigger worries this winter at the moment with the cost of living crisis. Sadly.
Yeah, we've moved on from another deadly thing.
Yeah, but certainly it's important to remember that it is still around. It's still important to be testing and such.
But Fifth Doctor 40, should we?
Yeah, we keep drifting, don't we?
Yeah, should we
just
give it a
tangent?
Yeah, should we give it a rating?
Yeah, I think we've said our piece about it, haven't we? Really, so probably good to wrap this one up with.
I mean, I'm sure we'll do more in depth talk about this release in a bit more time.
It would be good to do like a spoiler chat, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think
because
we've got plans for Fifth Doctor, and we've got another plan what will involve this release, I'm sure.
Yeah, because there is so many surprises packed into this one. Definitely go into it blind and really enjoy what it has to offer. But yeah, for me, you go first. You rate it first.
It's difficult because my heart wants to say one thing, but my head says another.
I feel like a lot. Like, I don't really want to say problems even because there's not really anything wrong with this release. It's just sometimes could have included this a little bit more here as well, and it's nothing that the release has done wrong. It's just occasional little bits where it's like, could it have been a bit more? But it's not just me being a greedy fan.
Yeah,
it does a lot already. It really does.
We'll never be happy.
Yeah. Like, it could do all that, and I'll still be like, you could have done this a little bit more.
Yeah.
Pretty pleased with a cherry on top.
Yeah. I'm torn between an 8 and a 9, to be honest. So I might just go. Yeah, I might just go 8.5.
I'm torn between a 9 and a 10. It is
a
really solid release.
Oh, damn. You really vibe with it then. Okay.
Yeah. Good. Like I say, all the stuff that I can maybe pick as a flaw is just something that it didn't include. It's not something that was wrong with what's there. So,
I'll go 9 because there was a bit in the sort of like, that's bumped up an extra mark for me. So I'll go 9.
I will go 9 as well. I'll meet you there.
There we go. We're on the same page.
A very strong 9. We'll see how this does in a couple of weeks when we do our top 5 again. We're updating it, aren't we?
Yeah, we're milking it.
Yeah, people loved it the first time, so we might as well return to it again a couple of months on because Big Finish released so much every month. It could be completely different. Like maybe the releases that were on there back in June when we did our last top 5 are going to be nowhere to be seen this time. Maybe they'd all be bumped off by more recent releases. And there's still more releases to go between now and then, isn't there? We haven't finished, or I haven't even started 10th Doctor Classic Companions yet.
Yeah.
Next week we'll be getting New Adventures of Bernie Summerfield, Blood and Steel, which
I have
looks
high
to be
hopes
very
for that.
exciting.
I have high hopes for that one.
Yeah, well, see what makes it onto the upcoming top 5.
I hope it is a different list, actually.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it'd be interesting if we come back a couple of weeks. It's like, okay, we're updating our June list. They're exactly the same.
Because, like, I would say nothing from August has gone on that list. I can happily say that.
What about July?
July. Was there anything? Might be one in there. There might be one.
Yeah, we'll see.
Maybe 2. I don't know. But yeah, that's all to look forward to.
Yeah, we don't want to spoil it too much. I'm sorry to hear, Mr. Boncactus, you've bit your tongue.
You'll recover.
Yeah, it's never a fun experience.
No, never is. But yeah, that's us pretty much done, I think.
Yeah. Any last minute questions, please do fire away in the chat and we will do our best at answering them.
Yeah. It's been good to finally close that book of 5th Doctor releases in 2022. Which feels
funny
mental.
It feels like so long ago since we last did it, because I feel January we were very much in a stride, weren't we?
Yeah.
We were just coming off that high of Christmas streams. We're excited for a fresh new year of Big Finish content, and so we really dived in with 41 straight away, and then carried on from there with a few different streams.
We were full of optimism, and then it just got smashed. Yeah. And we're like, is this relaunch really, working out for us? Is it what we imagined it to be?
Yeah. As this.
Oh, Luke's disappeared. There we go. No idea what he was going to say. But yeah, if you've got any questions, let us know. And he's back now, Luke. Don't know what happened. There he is.
Rather embarrassing story. I went to click back on the tab. But I clicked the tab. Wasn't too much about it. And so it closed quickly, and I had to quickly click the link again to get back here.
What were you saying?
Oh, you can't expect me to remember that.
Oh, okay. It sounded very important.
I imagine it was, but I've forgotten it now.
Oh, damn.
The panic of rejoining thrust it all out of my mind. Yeah, I remember now. I was asking, has 42, now that we've completed this strand of the 5th Doctor, since you were a bit more disappointed with 41, now that this is complete, has this helped the 5th Doctor this year and the relaunch in general for you?
I think it's put Davison back on the map again. I think it's put the relaunch back on. It now we've had the final 40, like we said. It's more of a celebration. It feels like an event now. It still doesn't feel like it belongs in the relaunch because it still feels like it's its own little bonus thing.
Yeah, it feels like they weren't even sure about whether or not it belongs in the relaunch, given that 40 doesn't have the 5th Doctor Adventures on any part of the physical release. 42 does. That is the 5th Doctor Adventures 42. But yeah, so the cover and the spine is nowhere to be seen on the first box set.
I mean, how about yourself? Do you feel like it's done good for the relaunch?
I think so. It's certainly done good for the 5th Doctor. I mean, it's like 41 I did still very much enjoy, particularly those first 2 episodes of Secrets of Telos are 10 out of 10 stuff. Like, re-listening to those, I remembered how much I just enjoyed that, the atmosphere of it. It's just in the second half of that story that it loses itself a bit because it is very much more, the Cybermen in particular are much more of a presence in the first half of the story.
Yeah.
And then just the way that one's structured, it changes pace, it changes setting, and so the second half doesn't quite work as well. And then God of War, it's just okay in the end. It didn't do a whole lot for me on any listens. It feels like it's too short to make much of an impact.
I just think it's a wasted potential of the Viking and Ice Warriors, to be honest.
Yeah, that's it, really, isn't it? And it feels like certainly there's a few fixes there that could have made it better, but what we got is just serviceable. I think it's probably improved by the fact that it's in the middle of this arc, especially that this great story follows it rather than it just being completely standalone.
I guess you could say it's the same as like Back to Earth.
Oh, what, the middle episode of that?
Yeah.
I don't. But in that, you can get away with not listening to that middle story, and it's fine.
No, I'm just thinking in terms of like quality.
Oh,
like, by the same writer as well. But yeah. It's not the best pulling on heartstrings of Adric's dead Doctor.
Yeah, I think it's good that this one moves on from that, though, at least.
Yes. Yeah.
It's nice that they took it in a different direction. I mean, it's still there a little bit, but it's not in the same way that we did with the Lost Resort and other stories, which was so good. That felt like, okay, we finally put this to bed now. We've allowed this to play out and reach its climax, but no, we felt like we were going straight back into it with 41, but then 42 took things a bit of a different direction, which I appreciate. But I mean, earlier you were saying about how, Davison almost was knocked off his pedestal for a bit, wasn't he?
Yeah.
But I think what's funny there is you don't notice it as much because I don't think anyone else came along and hopped up onto it. Like the 6th or 7th Doctor didn't really step up.
Yeah, Colin definitely didn't.
I think Silver and Ice is not too bad, but it's not on that level that the 5th Doctor was hitting consistently throughout the main range for so long now.
Yeah, out of the 3 main range Doctors, I think Davison still has the edge.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think Tim's on
42's just helped to solidify that again. We had a bit of a wobble, but 5th Doctor is still there. And are you looking forward to conflicts of interest?
I think so, yeah, because it's John Dorney. It feels like the format's going to be great because you're going to have your beginning, middle, and end because it's a 3-parter.
Yeah, going to get 2 3-parters, so that'll keep things fresh, having a different format, won't it?
Yeah, it'll be nice.
And also, I think as well, just going back to, we've had this big arc now. We've had several arcs in a way with the whole Mark stuff, haven't we?
Yeah, but I felt more of a relaunch.
Go back to standalone 5th Doctor sets. And like you say, this almost feels more like its own celebratory release rather than a part of the relaunch. So it'd be interesting to see how the 5th Doctor works fully in what this vision for him going forward is. So I'm excited to see where we go next with him.
Yeah, it's just nice to have like a buzz about a Big Finish release.
That's true.
Because I feel like we've kind of been like, yeah, it was all right, and then we just sort of forget about it. Whereas I feel like this definitely has a lasting impact on us, really.
Yeah, it's one that I was like I said, I listened to it over the course of 3 days. I was constantly thinking about it throughout those days as well. Like while I wasn't listening to it, it was still like thinking of, oh, where could this go? Theorizing about what could happen next. Like being excited once I finished work to actually get back and sit down and listen to it again. It's a buzz that I haven't had in a while for a Big Finish release, and I'm so glad I had it with this one. So I appreciate it for that alone, really.
Yeah,
give it back that. And I suppose it helps as well that in this box set era, it is just one solid story to itself. It doesn't have like some other box sets have, where you have a really good story in there, but then you have another one or two that aren't quite as good, and so your overall experience is dragged down a bit.
Yeah.
I think so. I mean, looking at my two favourite box sets of the relaunch, they are both one long story, the Annihilators and this. So hopefully that bodes well for Kaleidoscope next month with the Third Doctor. But yeah, certainly. When I look at all the others, I think for the most part, it's a bit of good and a bit of bad. Or not quite bad, but just not as good as the other story, really. So we'll see where things go. And I mean, you'll hear all about it. We're going to be letting you know our thoughts as we go forward. We're not stopping anytime soon. I'm sure Kaleidoscope will have its own video next month, because Purchase with 11, it's a Third Doctor channel at heart, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
He's
a given at this point. He's my baby.
Yeah.
He's my boy. I've got to rep it. Yeah. Plenty more, and I'm sure we'll actually start beginning dissecting Doctors on Big Finish soon.
That's our plan at some point, isn't it?
That's our plan. But
another big plan, getting closer and closer to fruition. Later this year.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to announce that soon.
Yeah, I'll have to give a proper announcement. We've been teasing it for so long.
Yeah, and I feel like we need to get back on working on it.
That's true. We have taken a bit of a break there. We'll have to, we'll discuss that off air. We'll get
we'll get
plan
that
in place.
So we can get back on track. But yeah.
Oh, Mr. Bot Cactus says, I'm really hyper right now, so can't go to bed. So a question. What type of new designs for any enemies for the 14th Doctor? It also mentions the Vok robots. They would look sick. So, I mean, Daleks. They need a new design.
Yeah, or just a new colour scheme. I think the bronze Dalek sort of design's great, though.
It is great. It's just been around for nearly 17 years now. We need something.
Oh yeah, because even like the grey Daleks in the Classic, they had like minor changes, didn't they? Really?
Yeah, that's true. I think also because they were used more sparingly. Look, there's a 5-year gap between Genesis and Destiny.
Yeah,
that's right. I mean, Death's also in the middle there to sort of mix it up on.
Yes, yeah, that's true. Yeah. What other classic monsters would you say? Vord, maybe? I think they've had a bit of redesign.
That could be interesting to see what modern perspective can be put on those.
Yeah.
And I think from what we know about the 60th itself, it does look like Russell is reaching more into the obscure monsters this time.
Oh yeah.
Which I think is only right. I think we're living in a time now where with a lot of comic book movies, both Marvel and DC, going much more obscure with character choices.
It's deep cut, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's making it work. It's making it popular. Like 10 years ago, who had thought the Guardians of the Galaxy would be household names? It's taking that thing and seeing the potential there and using it rather than going for the already well-known hitters like the Daleks and the Cybermen. I think Russell's had his go with all that the first time around.
Yeah.
So now coming back to it again, he's probably, I imagine he'll still use them at some point.
I think it works well for the 60th because like 60, you think 50th, 75, 75th. 60 is that odd one. So I think you can do the more obscure stuff, what we are getting.
Yeah, hopefully it's a sign for things to come. Because I think almost like the Macra turning up in Gridlock, you could do something completely new with them. There's not as much fan attachment to some of the more obscure characters, so you can put more of your own twist on it and make them seem more original, because to new audiences who aren't going to be that invested in the show anyway, or like more casual audiences, they're not going to know whether this monster's a returning monster or not. Like you have creatures like the Krillitanes, where the Doctor says, "Oh, last time I saw you had long necks." They're not going to know the difference between a classic Who reference in another story where that story actually exists and a reference to a past encounter with a monster that is untelevised. They're both the same thing to a casual viewer, so why not make the most of both? Why not bring back classic monsters? Not bring back the monoids, say.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
People don't have to have watched the arc to understand them. People don't even have to know that the arc exists to know about this. That's it.
I think that's a beauty. It's reintroducing these monsters to new generations of people. And I think, especially with like the Centenary, they're doing the heavy hitters. Here's your Cybermen Daleks master, and we've had the Sontarans in flux.
Yeah, it's like Chibnall's burned through it all for a little while, so for the 60th, why not celebrate with something a little bit different, something a little bit more out there?
Yeah.
Miss Sponkcaster says they try to redesign them but fail.
Yeah,
some new Who designs maybe don't quite live up to classic, but I don't think any of them are bad particularly.
No, I think they're all pretty faithful to the original.
Yeah. And I mean, with the Sontarans recently, we've seen that they can do even better, can't they?
Yeah.
And again, Sontarans, they've got a huge redesign. Why aren't the Daleks getting one? Because like, even when they do like the reconnaissance Dalek, it always falls back onto the bronze.
Yeah. It just feels like
I wonder if it's maybe more of a BBC thing as well, because of the vitriol towards the Paradigm Daleks. They're like, no, we don't want to go through this again. It's the typical studio thing of listening to the fans in the wrong places. It's like what Star Wars did with Solo, where they learned the wrong lessons for that, and now we're not getting another theatrical film until 2025.
Damn.
Very nice.
Just have to wait and see.
Mr. Bonkcactus was talking about the Daleks there with the redesign and fail. I would say it was a failure, but
the Paradigms are great.
But I suppose they're a failure in the sense that they didn't last because they went back to the bronze.
Yeah, they didn't exactly hide it.
Yeah, so, I mean, Series 6 is the only New Who series not to feature the Bronze Daleks.
There we go. We give Series 6 did something good.
Yeah, even Flux featured them, even though it was a weird CG. Oh no, to be fair, they did use old footage as well for the finale.
Yeah, then Vanquishers. Yeah, I forgot Vanquishers happened.
Yeah,
and I didn't mind it.
Oh, that's another thing about 42. It does feel a bit like the Fifth Doctor's Vanquishers or Journey's End.
There we go.
But done better than those two.
Yeah.
And I mean, so it makes use of the large cast of characters for its finale, I feel like. As it reaches its climax, it does have quite a lot of characters around, but they all have something to do and are all distinctive. Which is impressive when you think that this is an audio as well, and it's doing it better than some TV stories have done.
Yeah.
Why does the Doctor know when a Dalek has had a redesign?
Because the plot allows it to.
Plot wants it.
Plot wants it. Save time. Fits. Yeah, save time.
It's like the same basic shape as well, so.
Yeah, it's recognisably a Dalek. You got your appendages.
Yeah, I like all the redesigns in some way, but they keep going back to the Bronze Daleks. Yeah, hopefully Centenary can put them to bed at last
We thought either the Daleks just put him to bed.
Maybe you know how Sophie Aldred back in Remembrance accidentally hit the real Dalek prop rather than the hero prop that's meant to be hit by the bat. Maybe she went around and did that with every last existing bronze Dalek prop in the Centenary.
Yeah, you're not Imperial. Bam.
I think that's a fitting way for them to go. Let Sophie Aldred just whack them until they're not presentable on screen anymore.
And they can go to the asylum.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's us all done for tonight.
Maybe Ace can spray paint a penis on them all, and then BBC isn't allowed to show them.
Well, what a way to end.
There we go.
There we go. Can't top that. That's the end. That's Fifth Doctor 40 wrapped.
And some Centenary discussion as well of sorts.
Yeah.
Of the interesting kind.
Whatever that bit of news you just come out with there. Have to get rid of the bronze Daleks. Yeah, that's going to be in the papers tomorrow. But yeah. There we go.
We have it.
We shall see you next week for something. No idea what, but we'll be there. We'll be there for something.
Most likely. If not, week after that, our top 5 for the years so far again. We're revisiting it, looking back at some of the more recent releases, seeing if they make the cut or not. So sort of mark our halfway point between our other halfway point and our final tier list for the year. We did one for 2021. I'm sure we'll do one for 2022 as well, as we'll tier list every single release that came out, providing we got it.
Yeah, but we're pretty good at spreading out the releases.
Yeah, we've got the vast majority, I'd say.
Yeah, if you get one and I don't have it and we've covered it, vice versa, really. We're pretty good like that. You got Torchwood, I've got a few other stories you didn't get. So
you got 8 for March.
Yeah, I got it for March.
That.
Take that what you will from it. Yeah. But we'll see you soon.
Take care, everyone.
Goodbye.